Now, from Antarctica to the subarctic, the town of Churchill in northern Canada is known as the polar bear capital of the world. But this could be about to change. The number of polar bears in the area has halved over the last 40 years, with melting sea ice forcing the bears inland. BBC Science correspondent Victoria Gill went to Churchill to find out more.
There's a polar bear under a tundra buggy right now. He's very curious about us.
At the height of polar bear season near Churchill, Manitoba, conservation scientists are out in the frozen wilderness monitoring one of the most southerly polar bear populations in the world.
Yeah, the bears want to stay with the ice.
The bears are waiting for the bay to freeze so that they can use it as a platform to hunt seals. But as the climate warms up here, the bears are having to wait for longer.
So we had about 1,200 polar bears here in the 1980s, and now we have closer to about 618. So we've lost almost about 50% of these polar bears in the last several decades. And we've tied that to these bears are on land about a month longer than their grandparents were.
In the long term, this threatens the survival of this polar bear population. But in the short term, it means these bears are getting hungrier.
The longer they're on shore, the longer they're fasting, and the longer they might need to start looking for alternative sources of energy and food, and sometimes those sources are us.
This poses a particular challenge for Churchill and for the rangers who run its Polar Bear Alert programme. They're on call 24/7 and are on patrol every day, chasing bears away if they come too close to town.
This is a place that takes pride in setting an example for how humans can coexist with these big predators. And should we go? I can hear cracker shots over there. That means that they may be moving a bear. There's a bear there, it's crossing the road.
Get in the car.
We heard crackers going off and now the Polar Bear Alert team are moving around, so we're gonna get back in the car. So you can just see it through the trees there.
Assiniboine Park Zoo in Winnipeg is a rescue centre for young orphaned bears from Churchill. Here in the zoo's tunnel, we can see how at home they are in the water, using paddle-like paws to swim. But they don't hunt in the water. To sneak up and pounce on their favourite prey, seals, they need to be on the ice. So back in Churchill, the bears are waiting for the bay to freeze over, and everyone is on their guard. But that's just part of everyday life here.
You know, there's some times when we're in school and we hear bear shots, people firing shots in the air to try and scare the bears away from town because the school's just on the edge of town up there. So
wow.
We always grew up hearing bear shots and knowing there's a bear just so close, just right outside.
The school is inside the town complex, which also houses an ice rink, hospital, library and swimming pool. And when there are bears being moved through town, students wait inside until it's safe.
What's something that your parents taught you about growing up here and taking care of yourself?
Just like always be bear aware no matter where you are, and be with someone always, like when you're going out, either like playing outside or just going out for a walk, a bike.
As the climate warms and the bears spend more time on shore, Churchill faces the challenge of living alongside them. And in the long term, loss of the sea ice could transform this place. That's why a new marine observatory is using 2 large pools with very cold water pumped in from the bay to study how ice forms and to better understand how conditions will change here in the future.
Today, Hudson Bay has about 5 months ice-free. That means if we warm up another degree Celsius for the world overall, Hudson Bay's now 6 months ice-free. Then another complication is, well, how fast does the world warm? And that depends on humans. So it depends on how many greenhouse gases we emit between now and the next 10 years, the next 50 years, and so on.
The people of Churchill are adapting and planning for a warmer future. But for the polar bears of the polar bear capital of the world, their fate depends on us and whether we can rein in rising temperatures and preserve the ice that they depend on.